All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today we have CFB from Florida. Jeremy and Hunter is here to speak to you all about their business operation and our work opportunities that they offer in the technology kind of projects. Also job opportunities for students who are about to graduate. All right. Thank you for the food. We do appreciate it very much. And that's yours. All right.
And first of all, so for CFB, Clymer, Farner, Barley, we're actually with Clymer, Farner, Barley Surveying is actually the name of our company. Get more into that, but thank you all for having us here. We've been up here the last 5 years or so. I love the campus. It's a beautiful place here. Anyways, we have offices, headquarters in Wildwood, and we also have Clearwater in Accountant. My name is Hunter Blair. Graduated 2008 from UF Geomatics program. I am the principal vice president of the company. Started there 7 years ago, and I've been in the surveying business for over 20 years.
And I'm Jeremy Halleck. I'm a principal as well with the firm, which we'll get into that here in a minute. I'm a 2003 graduate of the University of Florida, and I've been surveying since I was 18, 26 years ago. So it's been a long and wonderful career. And real quick, before we get going, can we just have everybody go around the room and just introduce yourself and say what year you are and where you're from?
Will, sophomore from North Alabama.
Okay.
I'm Bryson, junior from Denver.
I'm Clayton from Auburn, junior.
I'm Trip from Central Alabama, and I'm senior.
Sullivan from Montgomery, Alabama, and I'm a senior.
I'm Wade. I'm from Prattville, Alabama, and I'm senior.
I'm John. I'm from Fairhope, and I'm a junior.
I'm Frank. I'm a junior. I'm from Selma, Alabama.
Well, it's good to meet you guys. A little bit about us and how we're going to do this. We're going to start off talking about the company, who we are, the history of the company, where we come from, and then also where we're going. Another thing is going to talk about the clients, in particular one that we do a lot of work for that will differentiate us from anybody else that comes in this room. I'll also do a quick overview of the surveying department that we have, and Hunter will go over our GIS. And we'll give you some example projects of some things that we've had the privilege and honor to work on. And then also talk about why us, what makes us different, and some company culture, and then open this up for any questions that you guys may have. All right, so a little bit about the companies. We're not a new company. We've been around for 37 years. We started in 1987 when two gentlemen, one Bob Farner, the other Steve Barley. Bob's an engineer, he's a surveyor, got into the business together. That was in 1987. And in 1992, a developer that happened to have just acquired a over 55 mobile home park came to them and asked them to do some engineering and surveying work. And we'll get into what that turned into later, okay? Which was the Villages. And so we were housed in Tavares, Florida, which is about a half an hour away from us. And then in 2005, we moved the operations over to Wildwood, which is where we currently are, okay? Basically, the Villages had so much property that they were going to go ahead and develop, and they got down towards the south end of that, and then development was originally going to stop. Then at that point in time, they decided to go ahead and explore the opportunities of furthering on their development. And so what we did is we assisted them in 2016. We started a GIS department, which assisted the Villages in being able to identify projects or parcels that they were going to go after for their future development. And that has since grown from one person. Now there's about 10 people, and we'll go over that in a little bit. Okay. In 2017, Bob and Steve, the original owners of this, decided to go ahead and start stepping away. And then a guy that I grew up with and played baseball with, his name's Clymer, entered into a partnership with them. And now he is the owner of CFB overall. He's the majority owner. Bob and Steve now are retired. And then in 2019, the name was changed to reflect the new ownership to Clymer, Farner, Barley, which we now go by CFB. And in 2021, the company split. So you have CFB Inc. and you have CFB Surveying. Hunter and I, at the beginning of this year, became partners in CFB Surveying. And we'll go over that in a little bit. And then in 2022, a year later, we went ahead and expanded and opened up 2 new offices in a very short amount of time. We have opened up one in Ocala, which is about 40 minutes or so north of our Wildwood headquarters. And then we also have an office in the Tampa area in Clearwater. So that takes us 2022 and 2023 down in Clearwater. We started to offer environmental services and hired a team down there. So now technically we are a multidisciplinary firm, which we do civil engineering, surveying, geospatial, GIS, environmental, and we do plan on offering SUE by the end of the year. Basically, we're centered right here where our headquarters are, is in Central Florida. For those of you that aren't familiar with Florida, we can be from our office to Disney World in less than an hour. The way that the setup is, this is Lee Clymer, who's the owner. He's the full owner of CFB Inc., which is the engineering and GIS component. He's not as young as he looks here in the picture, I promise you, but he's still a young looking guy. We've got about 154 employees as of this date. The vast majority of them are housed in Wildwood, but in our satellite offices, we do have 25 employees and in Ocala and then another 8 in Clearwater, and obviously looking to grow. Since I've been here for about 7 years, as has Hunter, our company has doubled in size over the last 7 years. So we had about 75 people when we started, and now actually we're up to 154. So this graph is a little antiquated. It is growing, and it's growing very quick. With that comes some growing pains, but we've been able to work through those. But we've also been able to really offer some opportunities, particularly to young people, to grow their career that others may not. We also have a pretty robust personal and professional development opportunities. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go out to Denver and go to the GeoE conference, which if there's anybody that decides to get into geospatial or GIS, that's a can't miss conference. And the other thing is, and Hunter's going to get into this in a minute, but we really have an opportunity to contribute very heavily to impactful projects throughout the state of Florida. And it's left its mark on the state for growth, and we'll get into that in a minute. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll turn over this to Hunter, who will explain the growth of our client from when I was talking about earlier with the mobile home park that has now really transformed the whole entire state.
Yeah. All right. So our main client is the village. That's why we are coming here, talking to y'all. That's why we're expanding, is to be the village's needs. This started back when they decided to ramp up growth. They said, are y'all on board? Let's get this team going. And we've assembled a great team along with the other contractors with us. So anyways, we started doing work with the villages in '92. So the villages, it spans across Marion, Sumter, and Lake County. Majority of it is in Sumter County. So the villages works, it's like a pseudo municipality almost. So in Florida, we have what's called a Chapter 163 agreement. With that, and there's a couple others in Florida, like Disney World has theirs too, but with that, you create your own standards. So you don't really go with the city or county municipal codes and stuff like that. You actually create your own, right? So a bunch of attorneys got together, the village team got together, and we wrote, it's a huge book of standards, right? And so it tells you how many trees you got to plant, it tells you how your residential buildings have to be. Everything is written in this code that we've created. So with that, it gives us the flexibility, and it's quick. It's a quick process for us to do permitting and all that because we've created the standard, right? Anyways, the size, this stat's actually pretty old. It's well over 57,000 acres now and well over 140,000 acres. I mean, residents. It is the largest single site mixed use development in the country. And it has been very fast growing. It is now actually larger land-wise in Boca Raton, Miami Beach, or Clearwater. Just give you an idea, and he showed you the graph, but just give you an idea of like when COVID hit. The country went into a scare and everybody's like, all right, we're losing jobs, right? And development came to a halt in a lot of places. We actually did the opposite. We ramped up. We were beforehand, we were doing like 2,000, 3,000 residential units a year. We bumped up to over 5,000 a year with the pace. And that also includes the commercial. We were doing several schools, hospitals, downtown centers. I mean, we handled everything, this whole area. So it was actually a really good, a lot of people got hurt with COVID, as far as the economy goes, but we actually, it was very fruitful for our company and the team. So a little bit about what we do for the villages. As Jeremy said, GIS at the very beginning, they go in the planning stage and they go look for properties that would be of interest, right? And they look at several things, water rights. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. Once they identify those, we come in and try to do the constraints for it. So we do the wetland surveys, the boundary surveys, topo, environmental stuff. We call them the bugs and bunny reports, tree surveys and all that. So we go in, figure out what all is going on with the property, and then they make a decision, do we want to buy it or not? Once they do acquire property, and these properties can be anywhere from a quarter acre to over 12,000 acres. I mean, so it varies in size, but after they buy it, we do the entitlements. So we got to get it incorporated into the city. Is usually what we do, incorporate in the city, and then they get it added into the chapter 163, and we get all the zoning and everything, done with it. At that point, we're ready to develop, move dirt, pull permits. We do all that in-house. We do permitting, everything, close relationship with water management districts. We got 2 in the area, mostly 1 though. But anyways, our team handles everything from the schedule and all that. So it's kind of a brief overview of the villages.
And to give you an idea here in this, I mean, as far as the eye can see, that's property we're charging. There's nothing like it. When I say that we have development schedules that go out for another 25 or 30 years, we've got that. And it's.
Yeah, I will retire still doing work for the village.
It's not, by the way, it's not all retirement. They do single family, and we'll get into this in a little bit when I show you some aerial LiDAR scans at the high school. They just built this.
So talked a little bit about our main client, but also we have a lot of what we call outside clients as well. Because we're such a large department there where we are, there's not a whole lot of other surveyors around, right? Because we take the majority of the work. So with that, we also have to serve the other people around. So municipalities. So we city, county, and all the surrounding counties and surrounding cities, they need help, right? So they call us, we do the work for them. Utility companies, Seco, Duke Gas, Duke Energy, all those companies, they need us to help them with all their facilities. So we're on board with all them and do that. Transportation projects, we team up. We don't have in-house and transportation team with engineering. So we have other firms that come in and do that, but the survey comes in with that component to do right-of-way acquisitions and all that. Also, the private industry, everybody wants a piece of this, right? So it's growing. There's infrastructure in. It's great for development. The private sector wants in too, right? So they're building other units outside of the villages. The private developers are, and so they come in and they want us on their team as well. So we do a lot of outside work is what we consider it. A lot of commercial property, and we do stuff. We have several groups, consultants that we do commercial projects actually all over the state, do a lot of gas stations, car washes, all that stuff throughout the state. So anyways, that's basically the client overview.
I'll talk a little bit about the surveying overview, that we have here at CFB. So, our separate survey company with CFB surveying, we've got about 65 people that are here. Which I do want to point out, we've got 9 men and women that are professionally licensed, which if you look at this ratio to that means you're going to get a heck of a lot of, mentorship. Right? Some of the other places you may look at may have one surveyor inside of an office and they're responsible for 5 or 6 crews. But we've got about 17 crews and with 9, so we don't have surveyors that are responsible for more than about 2 crews and 1 to 2 CAD technicians. Our surveyors, for the most part, they range in age anywhere from 71 to 30 or 31. And for the most part, everybody is very advanced technologically. You will not find many licensed surveyors for us that aren't intimately familiar with Trimble Business Center, Civil 3D, and possibly some other geospatial programs and so forth. We also have 3 SITs that are on with this that will be getting licensed anywhere between, say, 4 and 1 year from now. 5 admin, 32 field crew members, 15 CAD techs, and then we've also got a geospatial department. We are the largest survey entity in Florida between Orlando and Jacksonville. There are some larger companies that are in Orlando, but if you look at the whole void of the state that's in between those, we're the largest company that's there, but it doesn't seem that large. I mean, we're a very tight-knit organization. And it's really, honestly, it's a pleasure to get a chance to work alongside some friends. As what Hunter was alluding on, we handle everything through the whole entire development process. Okay. From the original boundary and topographic surveys to wetland platting, subdivision platting, construction layout, which we do a lot of. If you go down the turnpike, you'll probably go about 10 miles down that. There are nothing but the villages, and we're handling every single bit of that. As built, and then we also keep track of what's called the base maps, which are really the plan for development for the whole entire villages. They've got, like we were saying, 25 to 30 years worth of developable land right now. But inside of that, we have boundary surveys that always get updated. If they ever do any more acquisition, it gets updated to the base maps, which we also have wetlands in there, existing conditions and so forth. But this is what drives literally everything. I mean, even the attorneys over at the villages have access to our proprietary GIS system, which is all tied to our base maps. This right here, in 2022, we decided to go ahead and kind of dip our toe into geospatial, and it's come a long way since then. We started off with the Trimble X7 scanner, and then after that, a couple years later, decided to go ahead and go to the big boy drone, and we got a Harris hybrid drone that so it runs on gas and battery with a Regal Vux 120 LiDAR sensor on it, which actually has 3 LiDAR sensors on it. One that goes straight down 110 degrees forward and another 110 degrees back. But this is Brian who leads that, and that's the survey controller for that drone. So it's a lot different. We also have several Mavics or Phantom 4 RTKs, but they obviously don't use anything nearly as complicated as what this is. But as part of that, we're also committed to all the latest and greatest advancements in technology. Obviously, like most people, we're running 2024 Civil 3D, but also a few years ago, we invested $2.4 million into updating all of our crews from TopCon and Survey Pro to Trimble and Trimble Access. It was a very expensive ordeal to do, but I will say this, it was worth every penny. Field crews are a lot happier dealing with equipment that doesn't break down. And 2, it's super efficient. Have any one of y'all had an experience with a Trimble R12 or an R12i? Well, I hope you do one day because it's life changing. So, with that being said, these are a couple of our geospatial projects that we've done. This is an old 1930s theater that's in downtown Ocala that we did with the X7. And then right here, the villages, about 20 some odd years ago, they decided to go ahead and create their own charter schools because they've started to have enough people and enough employees that had kids, and they were going to school, 25, 30 minutes away. And so they built a school system there, which now has several thousand kids in it. Earlier this year, they opened up a new high school campus which I think they've got a little over 2,000 kids that go to this school as well. And you can see the sports facilities and so forth. So it's weird. What used to be a cow field, now they've got a football stadium with a 10,000 seat capacity. So it's a pretty neat thing. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to Hunter here now to go talk about our GIS capabilities.
All right, yeah. So GIS and mapping, that is actually ran by a guy, Marty, Goodwin in our office, but he couldn't come today, so I'm gonna try to do my best at this. So we'll go into it. It's a lot more than just creating maps. So like on the team here, there's 3 GIS analysts right now, 4 GIS techs, 5 CAD techs, and 1 admin that helps with this. And what's important is like, you know, when you say analysts, I mean, they're crunching numbers. The data input into the system is pretty incredible. And we'll go to the next slide here. So I think here's kind of a screenshot they put in there, but think about in the development process, and things happen, right? Even during COVID, we saw this a lot. Like, let's say a golf course may have been slowed down a little bit with construction because of maybe they couldn't get the seed to plant it or whatever. Even if the housing, you know, they couldn't get carpet, couldn't get supplies or whatever. We could run numbers in here and figure out how to shift the development schedule. Even the commercial areas, you can't put housing in without commercial to help. You know, people need grocery stores when they go there, right? And they want to drive their golf carts, to the grocery store. If they can't do that, they're unhappy. So making sure everything is built and the timeframes are all done correctly. That's what this GIS and mapping team does. They run the schedules. They use our data from our base maps. So we do all the surveys, we do all the easements, we do the topo, we do the wetlands. We compile all the data, hand it off to them. They enter it into their system. Also, they pull in and maintain all the other components such as, SWIP bud, water management data. They pull benchmarks, control points from the surrounding counties and all that.
And our own.
We put in there. They pull all the property appraiser info and all that. We also have added a component in all of our surveys that we do for, let's call it the outside clients. We actually input into the system as well. So we can actually go see, from the records,
This is
a couple
actually,
decades ago.
yeah, this is an example right here. So our GIS essentially acts as a data hub for the whole entire company that everybody uses. And over the course of the years, Bob and Steve, the original owners, actually acquired the records of several other companies. And it was never categorized with the crap. And now we go back and we can actually go through here and see all of these are color coded for a reason. And so now instead of digging through folders and flat files and so forth, you just come up, click on that, and up comes the survey.
Yeah.
From the others. And this all spawned real quick, if I can kind of take a tangent, this all spawned from one night I was looking for a survey and I knew we had it. It took me 4 hours to find it. And Lee Clymer, the owner, said, "Oh, that's too long." So now he's invested probably 6 figures into creating a system here that I think right now, we've got almost 10,000 entries in this now. From the previous companies that we've acquired, and we've got about 30,000 more to go.
Yeah. And it makes it a lot easier when, somebody calls that owns this parcel, they say, "Hey, I want a survey. Can y'all do it? Can you handle it?" Well, we can pull it up. We're like, "All right, yeah, we've already done all these surveys." Click on it, pops up, pulls PDF up. I mean, it's quick. So that's just one of those tools that we've got in the toolbox. But more about the GIS and planning division as a whole. I mean, these guys are crunching numbers, man. It's pretty cool. The village team, all the realtors, they're in there every day looking at this database, making a lot of decisions going on. They even they pull numbers in what trends are, when people do move in, where are they moving from? They enter all this data in to make decisions. What kind of food do they want? What kind of restaurant should we put in this area? All that stuff is involved in that system.
The other thing on the survey side where we use this data is we literally do everything from the villages, from their major huge acquisitions that are tens of thousands of acres all the way down to their mortgage surveys whenever it's finalized. And the beauty of this is that we know based upon current interest rates, okay, if they're developing 4,000 homes a year at the current interest rate, we know that we're going to get 38% of those mortgage surveys. So it allows us to develop schedules with how many crews we have to devote towards that. And so what we'll do is if all of a sudden you see the uptick, that's when we say, all right, well, we know if we see an uptick in 3 months from now when they're done with that house, or even less because they build so quick, we know that we're going to have X amount of crews on that. So it helps us to plan to know exactly how many homes we're putting in the. Real quick, I'll show you a couple of project examples of what we do. I mean, this is a construction layout project that we're doing right next to our office. It's going to be a couple thousand units that are going to be in here, but it's called Twisted Oaks. It's going to end up being a DR Horton subdivision, but this is not inside the villages. Villages has their own builders. But in this one, we established all the horizontal and vertical control that's going to be used for the duration of the project. Did every bit of the layout work. It's out there from basically utilities, roadway and upgrade, storm, which is, storm and sanitary sewer, and then anything else that they need. And then the other thing that we're doing is, because this is outside of the villages, we have to get whatever the local municipality's code is for the as-bills, which if anybody here's got some construction layout experience, that can be the trickiest thing. This is a project that actually I handled a couple of years ago that was completed last year, 2023 for the city of Wildwood. They had some infrastructure that was failing and they needed to go ahead and design a new force main. So I pioneered this. Actually, this was just one segment of it. The rest of it was probably actually about another mile of this, but we went through and did a topographic survey of, the area, established right-of-way lines and things like that. And then also did some separate boundary topos for the design for the lift stations. When I was talking earlier about how we did work for the villages, it actually opened up some other opportunities for us. Is that has anybody here ever heard what's called a 1031 exchange? All right, so 1031 exchange is basically it's a tax shelter for developers. Right, so what happens is when you sell a piece of property, you have so long to be able to invest that money into another project. So the villages had bought a piece of property, it's about 5,000 acres from a developer, or actually from a cattle rancher. And he had to have, I think within 60 days, close on another site. So one Friday afternoon, randomly, I get a call, and it was actually from Lee Clymer, and asking me if we were interested in doing a survey for that 1031 exchange, 12,000 acres, which was in Okeechobee, Florida, which is really in the dead center of the state, not a whole lot around it. And, I thought about it for a minute. And I just said, well, we didn't have the manpower at that point in time. So I said, let me call you back in a few minutes. And in 5 minutes, I called. All right. So if I'm you, when I was in school, all right, I called the guy that sat on my right and sat on my left that worked for two different companies. And within 5 minutes, we actually set together a team to take this project on. And we started, and actually our original party chief on that, his name is Bryce Brasher, who's a graduate from this program a few years ago. And I went down to get started the project in the field with them. But, it was over 12,500 acres, had to set 158 monuments. Then located another 87 because they had certain boundary configurations and so forth on this page to agree upon. The result was a 20+ page boundary survey, and we had to file almost 30 section corner certified corner records, most of which had never been filed before. So it's pretty neat to go out and dig for stumps and do things like that. But we ended up, because of the teaming opportunities that and the relationships that I built in college, we were actually able to finish the project up a couple weeks ahead of schedule, way under budget, and it kept the client happy, and we ended up taking a lot of work from it. So don't ever burn bridges, as we were talking about earlier. Be careful of the toes you step on today, because it may be connected to the butt that you have to kiss tomorrow. So fortunately, we had a good team here of people that wanted to work together. So,
All right, so why CFB? Couple of these things are probably standard, what people are gonna come in here and tell you. Health insurance, 100% paid for by the employer, for the employee. We did actually a couple of years ago start paying for employee life insurance. I 100% paid for by the company. We have an employee assistance program and career growth and development plan. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. So that's one thing that we take serious here at CFB. We want to make sure that everybody that comes in, if we're going to invest the time and effort, we want to make sure that y'all can succeed, right, in your career. So when even an intern or young professional comes in like yourselves, we're going to set up a program, right? When you graduate, your plan is to get licensed in 4 years, right? That's typically what it's going to be. We'll set that out. We're going to give you the tools to make sure that you can pass your test in that 4 years. We're going to move you around. We got different departments. We do everything. So you're going to be able to get a little bit of training in every aspect of surveying. Not only that, we're going to teach you to be a full autonomous project manager. That's the difference. We're not going to put you in there, we're going to work on this and we're going to pigeonhole you. We want to make sure you're well-rounded. You're going to be involved with clients. You're going to be involved with the villages. You can be involved with these other major developers that we work with. Municipalities, utility companies, y'all are going to be there talking. You're going to be in meetings with them. We're going to teach you that. We're going to teach you how to keep budgets, schedules, how to communicate, and all that. We have, like Jeremy said, we got 9 licensed surveyors, and we have additional PMs as well that aren't licensed. We have a great team ready to mentor y'all. So that's really exciting, and I hope y'all are take advantage of that. Company events, we started doing those a couple of years ago. While we're at it, we'll just go here. We realized, we were growing fast. The company was getting larger. Realized you may not know everybody that came in this past month. What we started doing is let's do a lot more events. We do these company events. We've done a lot of them. I think it started out just like a social happy hour, at a restaurant. And then we started getting a little bit more in depth. We've done Top Golf where we'll get buses and head down to Orlando to Top Golf. We've done paintball. During paintball, we teamed up, split the team, surveying, engineering, and that was a good time. Deep sea fishing, we've taken charter boats out, and a lot of sporting events. We've done soccer, basketball, baseball, hockey. We've done a lot of events like that. This is in December, we actually decided not to have a traditional Christmas party or end of the year party, whatever you want to call it. We actually decided to take the whole team to Epcot and bring their significant others, spouses. That was a great time. We decided, what better way to do that? And it was fun because we were walking around Epcot, going around the world, and you just constantly ran into other employees and hanging out and, having some food, appetizers with them. That was a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about the company events. We're real big on the culture. Go back a couple of Jeremy. Go back one more. And then some of the other standards would be we do offer ample PTO, paid time off, right? You need that. Holiday pay for that. It's not like we're not a little small company. We do have benefits like that. Retirement savings, we really brought that one up. I know y'all probably don't care about it right now. It's very, very important to start saving early. We offer the 401k with a 4% company match, which is really good. I mean, you double your money right there. And then we have additional insurance options. Actually, we just swapped carriers to ADP, and it's actually great. We got some new lineup with some additional items if you want to do some supplemental stuff for insurance, dental, and all that, or other life insurance and stuff. There's a lot of good other options out there. Yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much it about us. Thank you. Again, I'm Hunter Blair. That's Jeremy Halleck. I do encourage y'all, if y'all like take a picture of this, or I think we have some of these. I really encourage y'all, please reach out to us. So we have a team, and we'll be in contact. Please do that. We'd like to get a list of y'all and start talking and communicate. Because we got to build the next team for next year, right? And we want you all to be a part of that. We do go talk to a couple other, places trying to recruit. I will say I love this campus. I love y'all's group. We've been doing that for the last several years. And I'd like to continue to get students from Troy to join the team.
And even if you guys are looking for somewhere else, we weren't the right fit for you, don't ever hesitate to reach out, ask us and say, hey, you're looking to move to a particular place. Because the good news is that surveying is a really small and it's a tight knit group. And chances are I probably know somebody in that area that you're looking to move to. And so forth. You just never know. I've hooked people up with surveyors in Colorado and North Carolina and Virginia and places like that. So don't ever hesitate to reach out if you're looking for something else. So, at the end of the day, just be happy wherever you're at.
And also, yes, we do really want co-op opportunities for summer internships or whatever can fit in. If you reach out, kind of we can tailor something to y'all. But yeah, as soon as you reach out, we talk a little bit about, talk about accommodations and stuff like that, and then, we've got several different locations. So which one would you be interested in? What would you like the internship more geared towards and all that? We talk a lot more. And then job opportunities for y'all seniors. We got some great opportunity. Reach out and we'll tell y'all a lot more about it.
Another beauty about Florida is there's no state income tax.
Florida's a great state. Got a lot of beaches. Got to bring your sunblock though.
How long is your gas or drone flights?
Typically we've had up to 90 minutes on the flight time, but typically
Those
we'll
payloads, and the LiDAR sensor, what, 10 pounds?
Yeah, it's 4.4 pounds on that. And the camera, so you're carrying probably about 7 pounds roughly on it. But typically we will do probably up to 500 acres an hour with it. And I want to say, let me go back. This flight right here, it was like 483 acres, and I think we did it in about 55 minutes. Wow.
So that was the big thing about getting the hybrid drone, because we noticed with some of the other drones we had, you fly some passes and then it would have to come all the way back to you and land, switch batteries out, then it had to fly all the way back. And it just took forever, you kept swapping batteries, and the hybrid was definitely, it was a game changer. Throwing it out there and doing one flight.
So the other beauty on this one is that most other places, and I've worked at other places, great firms, nothing wrong with it. But the difference between us is that a lot of other companies, you make a piece of, you make an investment, like our drone was almost $500,000. Okay. Some people make that kind of investment and then wait for the phone to ring. We actually have the tools and the ability of ourselves to say, how do we want to use this? And so we develop our own project schedules, we develop our own methods and so forth. And so we elect when to use it and when not to. That's not a client driven thing. It's a company driven thing.
And even the SUE department, we want to put together. It's not a matter of do we have the work for the SUE. We've got all the work. It's just a matter of finding people that wants to do the work. We've got more underground utilities than think of it. And we have great relationships with our subs now that we have several SUE companies that do work for us, but it's just, it'd be good to have it in-house.
It's gonna be a little shame because GeoPoint takes care of us pretty good at Christmas because we use them all the time, but we're eventually gonna have to do it ourselves.
I think we have a few minutes, but what's some questions, y'all?
Do you know of any current opportunities in your GIS department?
Give me your contact information. We'll have Marty get and reach out to
We
you.
for sure have opportunities, yes. For every department and pretty much every position, especially for y'all, we have an opportunity. So,
Yeah.
other questions?
On average, how many hours would you say y'all work?
I would say the vast majority of our people are probably in between 40 and 45. Obviously, if somebody wanted to work more than that, they could. For example, with any SIT that we bring in, you're not a salary employee. You get 5.5 for anything over 40. So there's a real opportunity there if somebody wanted to make an awful lot of money. But for the most part, it's we try to staff to keep people in between 40 and 45 hours.
One thing we realized our projects never be done. It's the 30-year project, right? So there's still gonna be work tomorrow, there's still gonna be work. You just gotta stay ahead of schedule. And, as long as we're doing that, even the process going, we're good. And then, but we have outside stuff, which is a little bit different, but, we definitely have the opportunity to get the work out.
And with the amount of work we do have, in case anybody's concerned about it, because I know money's an important thing with people as it should be. We do have the ability to pay as much or more than anybody else just because of the work.
Y'all have any kind of like profit sharing system set up?
We do bonuses twice a year. That come about. We do a bonus in June or July for the summer bonus, which is the smaller one of the two, and then the larger bonus is right at Christmas. And so we accrued for that all year long and so forth, and they're good bonuses.
And we have other benefits that can be available. Taylor just,
Well, appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
We got some swag up here if anybody wants it.
Hey, buddy, I still got another midterm.
Today?
History.
Oh,